thank you for joining us today. You are joining us here for Amplifying Voices of Young People with ALS. And you're going to see that I use PWALS to share people with ALS, just so you're aware of that. Today is October 21st, 2025, and you are here for Bridging Voice, this very special panel discussion I am very excited for. So let me tell you a little bit about us because I think there may be quite a few of you who are joining us who are not familiar with Bridging Voice. Bridging Voice is a nonprofit that was launched in 2019. We are a very small but very mighty care team. We have 7 speech pathologists, 1 occupational therapist, and 3 programmers. And almost all of those people are actually joining us here today. We have over 200 years of combined experience in AAC and in augmentative technology. We are focused entirely on supporting people with ALS and their caregivers for communication and technology needs.
Okay, there we are. Okay.
We have assisted over
That's what I was
5,200
making sure. We're just showing up there as soon.
5,200 people with ALS in all 50 states. And what's even more impressive is 47 countries. Most important thing for everyone to know is our services are always free. How we work, we provide remote support to people with ALS across the US. Our services are always free. We are here to support you at all stages of ALS. That can be everything from talking about voice preservation and apps you can use your voice with, all the way through eye gaze and what you may need. We have ongoing partnerships. We support our clients as your journey changes. We are here for you. And we have a collaborative approach. So we build on existing resources as well as all of our new um, integrations and new technology advances as well. So we specialize in customizations, innovation, technical support. We have mentorship for other clinicians or other individuals who are providing support to people with ALS. Of course, education, which is one area that I am focused on, which is why you are here today. And then also training for caregivers as well as people with ALS. So I am so excited today that we have the most amazing panel of speakers, and I absolutely cannot wait to introduce them to you all. We have Sarah, who is here today. We have Meg, who is here. We have Gwen. We have Jules and MA. We have Mikey, and we have Erin. And these are all individuals that I hope you have seen on Instagram or on social media. If you have not, I strongly encourage you to check out all of their amazing Instagram accounts. And Carly is doing my tech for me today, and she's dropping all of the links into the chat as we go through this. Important thing to know is we're going to be giving you some resources today, as well as links and those sorts of things. Please don't worry about having to write them down or trying to grab them on the fly, as we do with all of our presentations, including this one. When we are done with this presentation, we will actually be posting this to YouTube, which is where you can find all of our past presentations. There will also be a list of all of these resources within our YouTube, and we're going to be sending you all an email. If you are able to join us, you will get it. And if you're not able to join us but signed up for the meeting, you as well will get a list of all of the resources as well as a link to our YouTube channel. So just hang back. So let's keep going. And please make sure you check them out online. All right. Okay. So, our first question that I would like to pose to our panelist is going to be answered by Gwen. And the question is, when someone receives their diagnosis, what should they do right away? And how can clinical and care team staff support this? Gwen, give me your answer. I absolutely love this answer that you have.
Hi, Trinity. You have the best energy, by the way. Thank you for being you and for bringing us together. I would file this question under things I wish I knew at the time of my diagnosis, and my answer is start recording your voice immediately. And of course, your voice will be later used for voice and message banking. Don't even worry about that and all of those details at the start. Just simply with one of the free apps on your phone, right? A voice recorder on your phone, just start recording immediately. And what should you record? Well, anything and everything from your special language you have with your pets or your kids or your spouse, sort of things that are unique to you, as well as things like recording a passage from a book or a poem. All of these things can get used later for the, you know, amount of time it takes to sort of put in. Um, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, that being said, I wish, even even if it wasn't at initial diagnosis, obviously we're inundated with so much information at diagnosis, but shortly thereafter, I wish I was told to just get recording. Thank you.
Perfect. Gwen, thank you so much. And one of the things you said to me when you and I had met was you really also wanted the experts, AKA the speech pathologists and the clinical staff, to be very clear about the impact that this can have
Yes.
and really telling people, like, this is not a wishy-washy. You need to do this. So, um, let's hear from Megan. And then, Gwen, I really heard you, and our team made something that we want to share with everybody. So I think will be helpful for in order for the clinical team members that may be on here to follow through with what you said, which is be that person of expert and make sure to share this information. All right, so I asked the same question to Meg as well, and so I'm going to share her response.
When you start asking for help with technology and communication, what should you ask for? Great question. Does asking your speech therapist to be your new best friend count? Because I feel like I harass that poor lady way too often. For real though, even from when I got my diagnosis only 3 years ago, so much has changed. I would tell anyone newly diagnosed to be very proactive. Reach out to Bridging Voice, make a plan, then take your plan you made together to your speech therapist. No matter your order, you're definitely going to be working with both of them a bunch. Next thing I would suggest asking for is some real world experience. I would start following people who have ALS on social media and see with your own eyes that as scary as it is, you are going to have a ton of options. See how we communicate, see how we maintain our independence, see how we can still have fun, all with our eyes.
Meg, can't say thank you enough for that answer. I see everyone with ALS who is they're clapping, their head is bobbing. That is just, thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so Gwen, this goes back to I heard you and we at Bridging Voice want to make this happen. So we have now made a really comprehensive voice banking guide for everybody with ALS. And the thing about it is, we want to get it into the hands of clinicians to be handed out. We want to get it into your guys' hands because every one of you that are here, you're interacting with other individuals with ALS, and we want you to pass it along. Remember, you're going to get all of these links in the email at the end of this training. So our guide includes like information about voice banking, like why should I bank my voice? How much does it cost? And I also want to acknowledge this idea of voice banking is hard for people. And so we're going to, and that goes into that. We also talk about which method is right for you. And we talk about how to actually do it and make it happen. Like make it happen today. So we're going to be sharing that with you and everyone. So how should you record your voice? I saw some discussions going on, and Sarah, I appreciate your comments about using emotion. So how should you record your voice to make sure that you can take care of take advantage of technology in the future? And Gwen, thank you for saying that, like, don't worry about the technology in the future, just record your voice. You also said about free apps. So there are multiple options for recording your voice. On a PC, you can use a free program called Audacity. On Apple, you can use it. There's multiple different free voice recording programs. So Voice Recorder HD or Voice Memos. On Android, you can also use the voice recorder app as well. When you're creating your recordings, this is the most important part is how you record it. If you can, to set yourself up, you can do an MP3 format, but this is one of the most important things. No background noise and only one speaker voice. Okay, so make sure you're recording in a quiet environment and make sure your voice is the only voice on your recording. That is one of the most important things. Also, keeping a consistent distance from the microphone to recording is important. For example, if you're using your phone, have it close by. Don't have it across the room, or you're going to get some echoing kind of to your voice quality. And as Sarah shared, use emotion. Don't read something boring. Use emotion, tell a story, answer a question. And if you can't think of anything, read a children's book because those have lots of feelings and emotion to them. We want to hear your personality. We want to hear that come through. As Gwen was saying, those sayings that are like uniquely you, whether you root for a sports team or you have a fun saying that you have, those usually have emotions. We definitely want to hear those and see and have those be involved in your voice. Okay. But what should you do if your voice has already changed? Gather from friends and family deleted voicemails. On iPhones, there's actually a section where your deleted messages stay. So asking your friends and family members for deleted messages. Of course, using Snapchats, WhatsApp messages, social media content, YouTube videos, any of those can be used to harvest your voice. And if you need further information on that, if you go to our YouTube site, you will see multiple 11 Labs recording options that are trainings that you can look at to really get more specific about how to do those. All right, this question is for Mikey. When you start with help, what should you be asking for?
Hi, Trinity. Thank you for getting all of us together. It's so good to see everybody in here. I like know like literally everybody from like Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So it's really cool to like all be in the same room. I think that this is a great question. Because it's well, like when you get the news and everything starts reeling in your mind, it's just like, okay, well, what next, And I personally didn't know a lot about ALS before I was diagnosed, and so I had no idea that my speech would be affected, and so that was kind of like I went down like a rabbit hole about what to do next. But thankfully, I found Bridging Voice. I found you guys, and it made the journey so much easier. But I would say like when you're ready to start the process, for voice recording and preserving your voice because it's so important to, in a situation where we really feel like we don't have control over what's, happening to our bodies and as far as like independence goes, we are able to do this amazing thing like voice making, which still captures the essence of us and our personalities and things like that. So I would just say like get in touch with a speech therapist, which I'm sure, that's like the first, thing they'll like set you up with when you're going to your multidisciplinary clinics. Talk to them about it. I definitely did my own research, found Bridging Voice. Did the 11 Labs route, and I just used like voice recordings. It was nothing crazy. I do like have a recording studio at home because I do music, so I kind of got a little lucky with that. But you really don't need, fancy equipment to do any of this. I would just say, if anything, just start small, like how you were saying earlier with like voicemails, things like that. As far as what I think you should specifically be asking for is, what would be right for me. Everybody's different and everybody's goals are different with how they want to preserve their speech and things like that. So, the cool thing is that you really can tailor it, how you want, like whether you want your voice hooked up to your eye gaze, or you just want to use like an app, like because for me the eye gaze is a lot. I'm still learning, but I should be practicing it way more than I do. But I think that just getting a list of questions together that you'd want to go over with your doctor, with your speech therapist, and things like that, would be a really good first step, kind of prioritizing what you want and how you want this part of your journey to go, because it's a huge part of your journey. I mean, our voices are so important and powerful, and so I think that that's what I would do first, just kind of get everything in order, get your questions down, and start from the top, and be as annoying as you want to be. Like there are no wrong questions or whatever. I think just go for it, and but just make sure it's how you want to do things.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So here are a few things I want to share. You don't know what you don't know. One of our other presenters who we haven't spotlighted but shared some awesome bit of information is Eddie, who is our occupational therapist. Some of you have had the chance to work with him. But we oftentimes get referrals for just one thing. Like you hear about us because of 11 Labs, for example, like Mikey was saying, but you don't realize all of the things that you should be asking for. So that list that Mikey was talking to you about, I'm going to give you some ideas of some things that you can add to that list. And John Costello has a statement. He says that he wants the right of first refusal, which means when you think that something can't work, come to somebody, come to your ALS clinic, come to Bridging Voice, come to us and let us tell you that in fact it can work. We just need to help you with technology to make it work. So let's look at this list. You remember that list that Mikey was saying? These are all of the things that you can add to your list. We provide these services at Bridging Voice: education, voice preservation, alternative access, communication apps, speech generating devices, integrations, and customizations. That's a lot of things. And so we have people come to us for just one reason, but in fact, we can help you with a lot of different things. All right. So here's our next big overarching category. When should you implement a communication device? This can get a little, not sure. Mikey's like, I should be using it, but I'm not. And Mike, I don't mean to call you out. Like, I bet there are at least 50 people in the chats that are in the same boat as you. I want you to know that. This is a great thing for us to talk about because you guys get asked these questions a lot. And by the way, these questions were really derived from what questions our panelists getting asked frequently, and what did they think was important? All right. So this question I'm going to ask to Sarah. How did you face adding a communication device to your life? And what would you do differently looking back? All right, let's go ahead and listen to Sarah's answer.
How did I face adding a communication device to my life, and what would I do differently? I will start by being transparent. I am an extremely stubborn individual, in this case, to a fault. Even though I had ease operating a communication device the first time I was introduced to the technology, all I had ever heard or read was how difficult eye gaze devices were to operate. As I lost the strength and dexterity in my hands, I still had my voice, so I tried to rely on Siri to text. Let me tell you, not ideal, extremely frustrating. I'm sure others can relate to this. I was relying more and more on others to help me maintain my presence on social media. I was done arguing with Siri endlessly, and I was stuck at home more than ever before as the world was impacted by COVID. My communication with the outside world was dwindling because of my own stubbornness. I was afraid having a screen in front of me would make others believe I was incapable of speaking, or it would somehow limit my communication because they would not be able to see my face. My thoughts were holding me back. Finally, I began working with my communication device. I flourished immediately. I regained so much desired independence because of the device's capabilities. Maybe most importantly, it gave me back my ability to communicate with my family and friends again without frustration or assistance. Invaluable. If I could go back in time and do things differently, I would have never waited so long to implement a communication device into my life. It would have saved me so much frustration and probably a few gray hairs. These devices are simply tools to significantly improve our lives when we have the willingness to welcome the assistance they are capable of providing. Don't be like me. If you have a communication device, familiarize yourself with the technology. Learn to be comfortable with it before you have to rely on it.
Thank you, Sarah. See, Mikey, I wanted you to know that you're not alone. Sarah, that was absolutely fabulously put, and I am grateful for your response and sharing that with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just want people to hear my voice so you can hear how close that voice is to the way that I sound, even 8 years later.
Awesome. Sarah, thank you. And I always welcome hearing your voice. Always, always. All right. Meg also had a response for this as well. So let's listen to Meg's response. And Abby, thank you for helping people in the chat that may be having a hard time hearing this. Remember that if you miss anything, you're going to be able to go back and also grab it from the YouTube screen or the YouTube recording as well. All right. This is Meg's response.
How did you face adding a communication device to your life, and what would you do differently looking back? Well, for me, I had the unique experience of being lucky enough to find and join her ALS story shortly after my diagnosis, which is a group for women diagnosed before 35. Game changer right there. It immediately exposed me to strong, beautiful women who were using Tobii devices, had bulbar symptoms, all who were kicking butt in their own way. So that made the idea of using one someday way less scary and intimidating. Also, during my first retreat with them in Boston, that's where I was first exposed to switch control and where I first met Tom from Steve's Way. Immediately after that same retreat in 2023, my hands and voice degraded rapidly together, like a breakneck speed that infuriated me. You know how it is, trying to type something out with your last functioning finger, exhausting yourself while trying to hang on to that last shred of normalcy. But thankfully I had met Tom, and he had already installed a shortcut onto my phone to turn on head tracking. So it wasn't even a question of when should I get an eye gaze device, because an option was already in my hands. I was able to explore this whole new way of communicating at my own pace with my own phone. I reached out to Tom, and he was able to help me navigate the settings and taught me a few tricks. Not to say that it wasn't difficult, but it was easier for me because I'm younger-ish. I understood the concept of it. Plus, you lift your eyebrows to tap, and have you seen my eyebrows? Ha! They're massive! Anyway, I wouldn't change much about my experience except for maybe reaching out to Bridging Voice sooner. Am I only just learning how to use a proper eye gaze device after not being able to speak for 2 years? Yup, that might bite me in the butt soon. Meh. Doesn't scare me anymore because I know I can do hard things, but I think this has kept my neck and face muscles a little stronger, a little longer. That's got to count for something, right?
Absolutely. Can we all just take a minute to like listen to the emotion and the fun, like prosody, it's like the speech term, just the fun quality of Meg's voice. That's because that's what Meg sounds like. And Meg put recordings in that had all of that funness to her quality of speech. And now we get to hear it. Ah, Meg, I love your voice. I absolutely love your 11 Labs voice. All right. Emma and Jules, you are up. I can't wait to ask you this question. All right. So, how has the way you approached integrating your communication device in your life set you up for success? And this is Emma's question. What caregiver tips contribute to this success? Okay, Jules, I can't wait to hear. Remember, you're on mute, so make sure you take yourself off mute first before you answer.
I have always been into tech, and when I first realized what an AAC was, I questioned if I had to use it in its default setup. Could I make this device fit me? I haven't been shy about testing lots of things and setting things up in ways that may not be conventional. When I connected with Eddie from Bridging Voice, he showed me some simple customizations to make my life easier. From there, I realized I can do much more. With the advent of cloned voices, I jumped in as soon as I could. I know for some living with this awful disease, jumping into this is very difficult and scary. However, my approach has always been I want to stay connected and keep as much of who I am because ALS can't take that from me.
Yes. And then for me, I was thinking about this from the caregiver perspective. A lot of presence, right? Having that mindset and that commitment of presence with him, of patience, certainly, and infusing purpose. Like, how can my own heart, my purpose, be ignited through helping him share his voice with the world? And with the combination of those things, and really seeing things as a challenge, he's taught me, I've taught him, like, how to really approach this in a way where we're not gonna shy away. We're gonna share, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna cry, we're gonna scream, we're gonna fight. We have the best fights through these devices. You can still do it. And the love and the communication, being very open with our son, who is turning 9 today, actually, Skylar. So being very open with him and having him be like part of the process, not hiding anything, just leaving it all open. All of that, I think, has really contributed to us having a really healthy, vibrant relationship that's actually grown more and more. Like, we love each other more than we ever did, which was a lot before. But yeah, it's been a beautiful, hard journey, but it's all worth it. Thank you for
I
the
love that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Something else that you guys shared with me that I think was really important is you talked about looking at this not as like another negative thing to add, but instead you looked at it as like another opportunity to continue to have that access to the world. And then you also talked about, again, adding it a little bit earlier so that you had that chance to learn it and to get it integrated with your life. Um, Perfect. And there are tons of birthday wishes for your son in this. So you'll definitely have to share, and you will be able to see the chat on YouTube as well. Happy birthday to the coolest 9-year-old. Lots of birthday wishes. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. All right. Now, this is a huge question that comes up. So we just talked about Emma and Jules sharing, and again, when I had done the interview with you, talking about sharing this before you absolutely have to. So Sarah talked about being stubborn and not integrating it, and things were more challenging for her before adding it. You shared with me that you added it before it was absolutely necessary. So you had a little chance to work into this, both as a caregiver and from a user perspective, Jules. You shared with me about that. So let's ask the big question is, how can you get a communication device and use your voice? All right, Erin, this question goes to you. So how did you go about getting your device, Erin?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for asking me to be on your panel today. This is such an important topic, and I'm glad I get to chime in on it. I probably got my device sooner than was necessary by most standards because I was still speaking with my natural voice. However, I wanted to get it early because I wanted to prepare for the inevitable loss of my voice and start practicing. It just makes sense to get it while you can still ask questions. The process I went through to get my device was fairly simple. I spoke with my speech language pathologist and she started the process. I knew I wanted a Tobii device because I had heard so many good things about the capabilities and great tech support. We even got 4 hours of in-home help. My SLP brought in a Tobii rep and we got to look at all the different models in order to find the one I liked. In the meantime, while the insurance was processing the order, we asked for a loaner from our ALS network so I could begin learning the ins and outs of the device. After the order was processed, I received help from my SLP until I was comfortable with it. Bridging Voice then helped me integrate my 11 Labs voice into my device and further customize it to my needs.
Perfect. Yeah, the Tobii, which is fabulous. You know what? We hear all different. Tobii Dino socks. We hear all kinds. I love it, Erin. That's absolutely perfect. So thank you for that. Um, and just to be clear about using technology and communication devices, although we are talking about communication devices from the communication aspect, um, important to know is that there are many people with communication devices who still have use of their voice, but maybe they use their AVAPs or their non-invasive ventilation for certain points of the day. Okay. Totally appropriate to have a communication device. You may have your voice in the morning but by the end of the day, you get really tired and your speech is no longer clear. You should still be using communication device during that time. You also may find yourself using one of these devices, not for your actual speech aspect, but also because you lose the option to use your hands. And so you no longer can access a desktop computer for for using Windows or writing text messages or being able just to move about. So remember that um, all of those aspects are important for you to start talking with alternative access, like we talked about earlier. Okay, the chat is alive, which is awesome because we have so many people that are using, technology. But someone called me out specifically. Gwen asked me about starting with an SLP. So yes, I'm going to get into that in just a second. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. So hold on to that question. Gwen, I think I'm going to be able to answer that for you in just a second. The nitty gritty of getting a communication device. How can you? Okay, there's multiple routes. And just like what Mikey said, your journey and what is right for you is everybody's journey looks different and everybody's in a different position. So yes, you can get a communication device through insurance. There are Medicare and Medicaid rules to go along with it. Okay. But using insurance, you do need a licensed speech pathologist to complete your funding report. Okay. Through insurance, of course, you can get technical and setup support available with communication device companies and warranties. And although The word Toby has been mentioned a couple of times here. I want to make it very clear. And Sean, thank you for putting it in the chat as well. Everybody on here, I want to make sure that you know that there are multiple communication device companies out there. Each company has multiple devices like Erin shared. Please make sure that you are trying more than one. Okay. And if you are getting a communication device and you're not getting eye gaze right now, make sure that you try it so that in the future, if you do need it, that you know that it will work for you. So please try multiple. You can also get a communication device from a loan closet, okay, such as Erin said, ALS Network, which is an ALS United, so an ALS United chapter. You can get one Team Gleason and ALS Association. Oftentimes, you can have initial setup support. They can give you some training. They can swap out devices if needed. They may not have all of the devices that are available, and they may not have the newest device, but it is an option for somebody who may not qualify for insurance funding. There is also the option, and people have done it. So eBay is also an option, but please be aware that this does have some purchasing risks as well as some warranty risks. So being aware of that. You can also create your own. But you do have to be aware that you're going to have costs for each individual piece. You're not going to have the kind of the technical and setup support that you would with like a funded device. And warranty is going to be questionable based upon, each individual piece of that process. So I am going, giving best foot forward insurance funding. And for those of you who don't have insurance funding as an option, a loan closet, there are lots of them out there. Okay. Oops. Now, what can you expect from support? Support is super important. Really, this is kind of like a three-tiered. So you have your speech pathologist who could do your training, your ongoing training, your troubleshooting. You have a loan closet that can do setup and swapping of devices, and you have a vendor. Your vendor is from the communication device company that can do setup and training and technical support as well. So you have all of these pieces that work together. And in the middle of all of this, as we know, oftentimes things get dropped or you no longer can get to your speech pathologist or your vendor is not available to be able to help you in your area. You have Bridging Voice that's in the middle of all of this. So don't forget, we are here for your support. All right. This is my favorite part of the presentation. If you thought the beginning was good, this is going to get even better. All right. So one of the things that was really important for us all is to show how you can continue to live out loud with technology and maintain your connections with ALS as a part of your life. So MA and Jules, I'm coming back to you. Oh, and I'm also going to ask Erin this question as well. So I'll start with Jules. How do you continue to live out loud? Don't.
Well, I have to give a lot of credit to my wife. She shares our journey through this disease on social media. She is also the person that pushed me the most to give stand-up comedy a try. I first did it before I lost my voice. At that time, I thought I would never get to do it again. But once I got my clone voice, I realized there is an opportunity here. I was able to work with my good friend on new jokes and get my clone voice to sound just right. Last year, I got the opportunity to perform on stage, and it was just an amazing experience. I went on to perform several more times, and each time I felt more invigorated. I love to laugh and make people smile. I may not physically be able to, but I think you can tell.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much, Jules. Erin.
Living out loud is no easy thing, especially when you have to find ways to constantly adapt to whatever disability ALS throws your way. I remember when I first started posting online, I was able to use my thumbs like everyone else. As I began losing the function in my hands, I had to get help first from my mom. But now I'm transitioning to using a mouth trackpad and iPhone mirroring on my eye gaze device, which has been really helpful. On a personal note, living out loud opens up your life to criticism and judgment from people who just don't understand or even want to understand ALS. But with every negative comment, there are about 1,000 positive comments that are full of encouraging words or people who are in the same fight. Posting takes a lot of work, and sometimes I just don't want to have a camera always filming my life, but I have to remember all the positive effects it has in spreading awareness.
You, Erin. And you definitely do post a lot, and we are grateful to see that. And that is, again, just bringing you to the table. We are grateful for you every single day and every one of our presenters here today. So thank you so much. All right. I asked this question to Sarah. How do you maintain connections using your communication device? And she has a fabulous answer for us.
How do I maintain connections? With the help of a communication device and eye gaze technology, I am able to communicate freely with my eyes, just as I did when I had the ability to use my hands. Let's be honest, my generation's favorite form of communication is texting. With the assistance of my communication devices, I am able to text without bounds. Beyond that, these devices have helped me create amazing connections with all of the little ones in my life. I am capable of playing all of their favorite videos for them, playing games with them, and now I even have the ability to drive them around in my wheelchair. It provides me with the freedom to interact with them in special ways. They all find the incredible technology very cool. Additionally, the communication device has allowed me to develop great connections through the use of social media. By having the capability and courage to share pieces of me with the world, I have provided some much needed hope to not only the ALS community, but anyone who is facing a difficult time in their lives. The communication device allows me to have so much purpose in my life. It has given me a voice and a platform I never thought I would have.
Thank you. And yeah, Erin, you, Sarah, your interaction with the world is just absolutely fabulous. And if you don't follow Sarah, you should. You will also absolutely see her love for all of the little people in her life and her love of baseball. It is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that. All right. Emma and Jules, would you like to share with us how you maintain your connections?
Absolutely.
Besides social media, I have maintained and created new connections using WhatsApp group chats. I think everyone who is living with ALS has dealt with the loss of friendship and even family because of what this disease not only does to our bodies, but how the people around us change and drift away. So I found others living with this disease at a similar age and connected with them. It's been a great place to share stories and to problem solve together. I also believe just by sharing our journey, being honest about the difficulties, and laughing about life has helped maintain and create new connections with others.
Yeah. For me, again, the being able to share our story from the beginning when we decided to first we did our podcast for a few years, still available in case anybody wants to listen to sort of the play-by-play of when he was first diagnosed. So then starting to share on Instagram and really connecting with other people in the community, people like Sarah and Erin and Mikey. I mean, it's just so mind-blowing and beautiful and inspiring, as well as with our caregivers, their spouses, their parents. We get so many DMs, so many messages of people that may not comment or may not share, publicly what they're going through, but we constantly get thank yous and the sense of them seeing themselves through our journey. And while they may not be sharing their story, right, because they don't feel that's like the right approach for them, they they almost sense that the world can get a taste of what they're going through, because of the things that Jules and I share. And I also have an incredible WhatsApp group with other caregiver spouses that are around our age that has saved me and the rest of us many times. So that's all been really important and meaningful.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you all for sharing this aspect of your life. It's so important, and we are grateful. All right. So speaking about those big connections online and being kind of forward facing, I asked Sarah, are people surprised you do all of your own social media posting? And here is her answer.
Are people surprised that you do all your own social media posting? I am frequently asked how or who makes my social media posts. They are all shocked and impressed when I tell them everything they see across all of my social media profiles is done exclusively by me, using my eyes and a communication device. I am a firm believer in the saying, when there's a will, there's a way. In the 5 years of using a communication device, I have far surpassed my previous abilities when I could still use my hands. The device has allowed me to become more creative than ever before, creating reels and videos capturing some of our amazing experiences. Maybe the most surprised everyone has been is when I shared I had written and illustrated a children's book exclusively with my eyes to help the children in my life understand ALS. The communication device has allowed me to continue to be me and share my voice and perspective with the world, something I will forever be grateful for.
Sarah, did not know that you made a book. I think I need to see this book. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. So much for that. All right. Okay, so Malcolm just put a post in, and I did not see this post, and thank you, or a chat in the chat, and he said, this meeting is so full of life. Watching it should be on the priority list for people who are diagnosed. Absolutely. And Erin has the last question. Yep, Erin has the last question of this, and there was a reason I did that. Because Erin and her mom are, if you have seen them online, they have some of the most amazing experiences. And I can't wait. One of the sayings that Lily, Erin's mom, shared was, you can't wait until there's a good time. And so, Erin, I can't wait. I want to hear you share with us about the way that you guys are approaching this right now.
No time is a good time means that you can't wait for the perfect time to do something. I'm not saying drop everything and run around the world spending all your money, even though that sounds like a really fun time. I'm just saying don't wait for the perfect time, because that might never come around. When I graduated high school, I was given the option of a trip to Europe or a laptop for college. And I chose the laptop, so we pushed traveling off until I graduated college. And it didn't happen then either. The thing that finally got me to Europe was getting a terminal disease. After getting this diagnosis, I was, and still am, determined to do as many trips and experiences as I can in the little amount of time I have to do it. And I have, so far, I've been to Europe twice, Costa Rica, across the US and Hawaii, and I'm not done yet. I've paraglided, walked on suspension bridges, gone 170 miles per hour in a race car, and I will hopefully go skydiving soon. While this is all exciting, traveling is exceedingly difficult, but I am fortunate enough to be able to still do it. Others with this disease progress so rapidly that traveling isn't an option. So I never take it for granted. I'm grateful for every moment I've been given.
You, Erin. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing everything. We are grateful that you, as everyone else has said, you share the good times and you share the challenging times. And we are grateful to that. So, bringing this to the next statement is I want to share a little something with you guys. So, Pallets and Petals is an online website that makes necklaces, and they have an ALS necklace collection. And one of Erin's adventures that she has taken was the paragliding through adaptive impact. And so Erin has a necklace, which is the Monstera necklace. You can see she's wearing it today. And if you don't know about why the Monstera is Erin's logo, you need number one to check out her tattoos, and number two, you need to check out her website, or her Instagram Instagram, which you can see all about her tattoos on her on her Instagram account. Um, and the proceeds from Erin's necklace goes to the Adaptive Impact program that Erin was sharing with you about with paragliding. And I will come closer. I am wearing our necklace that was Jewel and MA. So Jules, the high octane Jules. And it is the Bolt Lightning necklace that actually supports bridging voice. And this one sold out and she has not gotten them back in stock, but she's hoping to get them back soon. So you can purchase one of the necklaces that will support bridging voice. And there will be some new necklaces coming out with some very, um, I think you're going to love it. And they also are going to support bridging voice. So please check out Palettes and Petals for their entire ALS network or ALS necklace collection. And you can see all of the different providers as well as who they support. All right, we have come to the end of our presentation, and I am grateful to you all for being here. If you are here for your professional development, Carly will drop the attestation link. So please go ahead and fill that out for me to say that you stayed for the entire time today, and we will get you a professional development certificate. But for those of you who may be new to us, I want to make sure that you are all aware of our open office hours. So every Tuesday, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, we have open office hours. And you are welcome to bring your questions regarding ALS and communication and technology. You will also find this open office hours is not only staffed by our Bridging Voice team members, but also by our ambassadors as well, who are living with ALS, and they will be able to answer questions about technology and those sorts of things for you. We do have an upcoming training, as we like to do trainings about once a month. We have an upcoming training done by Emily Kornman. She is going to be talking, which I think is very appropriate for this kind of age group and this target, is mobile apps, choose and use, how you can find mobile apps to assist you with your communication and technology needs. So please feel free to register. And even if you can't join us, you will get again, an email after the recording with all of the links as resources for you, as well as a link to our YouTube channel. Speaking of our YouTube channel, we have all of our past recordings on our YouTube channel with their links and all of their reference materials. You are welcome to like and subscribe and follow us on our YouTube channel. Carly will drop the attestation for you for the attendance. And just so you know, there are lots of ways to support Bridging Voice. Again, like we said before, our services are always free. You can make a donation, you can share a testimonial, you can share this training with others to join us. You can also donate communication equipment, and you can also start even like, for example, a Facebook fundraiser as well. And you're welcome to join us there at bridgingvoice.org/get involved to find out more how you can support us. So I want to say thank you. I am going to stop our sharing at this time. We are at time. I am welcome to stay and kind of keep things open if anybody has any questions that we need to address. There have been a ton of questions that have gone back and forth in the in the chat. Team, is there anything that you think that we need to pull forward and address live at this time? For those of you of our team members that were asking questions in the chat or answering?
Lots of questions about Sarah's book. So we will share in the notes that we email out afterwards where you can find that.
Anybody have any questions? You're welcome to put your question in the chat, or you can take yourself off of mute and ask a question if you would like. You guys are just getting lots of kudos about about everything. Everyone's saying thank you.
Yes, many things. I was going to say there are many things and many people saying what an amazing presentation and advice all of this was.
Perfect.
kudos to Trinity.
Haley, you had a question about how to improve calibration on devices. We have tons of information about that, so we can address that for you. You're welcome to reach out to us. You can also pop over to open office hours in just 30 minutes, and we can be able to answer that question a little bit more one-on-one for you.
Quick one.
Gwen.
Oh, hold on. We're going to let Gwen go first.
I was going to say, Gwen, Trinity never slows down being awesome. It's hard to get a compliment in.
She is, I know. She is amazing. We would not be here without her and bridging voice. So thank you guys so much. This has been awesome.
Did somebody else have one? I heard someone say
Oh yeah,
quick
I have
one. What was it?
a quick one. We waited too late, but we did capture her voice in Apple Personal Voice. So now I think we can go into 11 Labs and dump that in, and then we can add other things later as we find them, right? YouTube, voicemails, videos. We could add, just keep adding to it.
Yes, you can keep adding to it. Yeah, and if you use that the voice banking handout that we showed and we put a link in, and we'll give you a link. It gives you instructions on that, as well as gives you information, links to our videos that actually go in a little bit deeper to show you how you can add all of that stuff in.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else today? Otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Actually, let me do this. We're going to go ahead and stop our recording at this time. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe to our channel.